Well, hello there, YouTubes. Just gonna make another quick knife video. So, uh, at first there, I started talking about, the couple three knives that really got me into it, and then talked a little bit about my EDC options, and then I started talking about just kind of individually my knives for knives. So basically, I'm just going through the upper end of my collection, and this evening I'm going to talk about two knives, but you'll see they're very similar. So the first one, well, the Benchmade Griptilian, and the second one is the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. Now you may be saying to yourself, these are not higher end knives. I'm still new to the knife game, so to me they are higher end. Anything that's, premium brand, premium production quality, to me is higher end. And for their aesthetic value, also higher end. And for their quality, they're higher end. And then after they got dressed up, their dollar values went up, so they're still higher end by my standard. So we're going to talk about both of my Griptilians this evening. This is the standard full-size Griptilian, Melpardew design, S30V. Obviously, I'm a fan of the sheep's foot blade and the thumb hole. I mean, all you've seen up till now is mostly Spyderco's, so I'm a fan of the thumb hole. So the full-size Griptilian, sheep's foot blade, thumb hole, S30V, Melpardew design, axis lock. This one I got, originally it was obviously the DLC coated blade, but it had the khaki FRN or Grivery scales. When I got it in hand, I was just like, God, this feels like crap and it feels cheap. I saw these scales online. So it was about $115 knife to begin with, and then I saw these scales online that were another $90. By a Russian dude, I can't remember his name. He's on eBay. So I ordered them, and I adore them. Obviously, I got some red hardware to kind of, I don't know how well you can see. There's kind of a red spacer or a burgundy spacer in between the white and the black, and I think the red really the red on the pivot, not the pivot, the body screws, and the pocket clip screws, I think really give it that little splash of color. I love, and I mean love this knife. This is unquestionably one of my favorites, and I'll get to talking about it later when I talk about what I'm trying to discover is, to me, like the Excalibur pocket knife. So this is definitely going to be a contender. This one is my Benchmade Mini Griptilian. It's 20 CV, Melpardew design. Again, sheep's foot, thumb hole, axis lock. This is the blue class. My wife got me this for Christmas. This is regularly $165 to $170. I went ahead and got new pivot, body screws, and a deep carry clip. Ooh, it's a little small knife. There we go. And again, just love it. Love it. To be perfectly honest though, I'm not really a fan of how this clip sets in the hand. I could just see it being a hot spot if you had to do more than open a box or a letter with it. But yeah, so after, you know, this one regularly 170-ish, plus another, what, 30 bucks between the clip and the hardware, you know, $200 knife. This one 115-ish, plus another 90 and another 100 or so for the scales and the hardware. You know, you're looking at you're looking at a $215 knife. This is kind of where I feel like the general point of diminishing returns is in knives. You know, it's going to be in that between 210 to 240, 250. You know, outside of that point, I just don't know that you're going to get, to me anyway, the features are going to be worth the extra cost. But yeah, these are two of my absolute favorite knives. I absolutely love these knives. So let's get some measurements on them. Let's start with the weight this time. The full-size Griptilian with the aftermarket scales is coming in at 4.35 ounces, and the mini blue class is coming in at 2.78 ounces. The blade length on the full size is just at or just below, maybe like 3.45 inches. And the mini is 2.9, 2.8 inches. Overall on the full size, you're looking right at, oh golly, it's right over 8. So it's going to be 8.1 or so inches. And the mini's just under 7, 6 3/4 inches. Some size comparisons. Spyderco Tenacious. It's actually a pretty good comparison in terms of overall size and blade length between the full size and the Tenacious. Brother the Bug Out. And the Leak. We know the Leak's not going to be anywhere close. But here it is. Just leave those open. With respect to, set this one over here. A good comparison, a fancy pants comparison, would be the Spyderco Magnitude. Magnitude's a little bit bigger. Its blade shape is pretty well even. Or I'm sorry, well, yeah, it's blade shape. Obviously, I like a sheep's foot and a spider hole, right? Blade length is pretty well even between the two. The scales are a bit longer on the Magnitude though. Magnitude being a liner lock, that is its key. That is the only thing about this knife. Well, and it's enormous. So let's take a look at the width compared to with the aftermarket G10 scales. I don't know how well you can see it. The Magnitude is substantially wider. And compared to one of my regular EDC pieces with the G10 scales, it's just a little bit more narrow than the Tenacious. Just the tiniest bit. So, you know, this is a good sized carry piece. You know, if you're in a different tax bracket than me, or if, you know, have other budget options that you're going to go through before your nicer ones, or you have less stressy scales and you don't really care about it, or if you have just the factory with the Grivery scales on it, this is a good EDC blade. It's a good size. It's a pretty good weight. It's just a touch on the heavy side, but it's still good. I mean, I carry this one pretty frequently. Actually, it was in my pocket today. But just a really good option for EDC, and when you dress it up with the aftermarket, it becomes a pretty classy knife. Again, one of my absolute favorites. Now let's take a look at the mini grip. So again, next to the Tenacious, it's minuscule. Next to the Bug Out, a little bit shorter than Bug Out in most all dimensions, most except for one. And again, it's another really good size comparison with the Leak. And another knife that I've compared this to in a previous video. Ooh. The Spyderco Hunan. This is a great comparison in just about every way, shape, and form as these two, or if you get into a budget option. Now, what I'll say, in my quest for the Excalibur pocket knife, I'm not a fan of basically any metal scales. Like, I've got several, and I find it's either too smooth or too heavy or both, you know, any number of reasons why I just don't really care for metal scales. I've really come to appreciate G10, not G10, well, G10, but micarta and G10 if it's done well. And these, both of these cases, actually even this one, these two, it's done very well. So yeah, again, a great comparison between these two knives. Let's get a look at the width on them. So the blue class Griptilian is fairly markedly thinner than the Hunan, but we're going to find that it's substantially thicker than the Leak. I don't know how well we can see that. The Leak, these, again, just to mention it, these are some really great EDC options. Both of these are supremely thin, lightweight, sturdy blades, and this one is just, I love it. It's absolutely perfect for me. I just wish it had VG10 instead of 8CR13. But again, you know, you get the blue class and the full size, you're still looking at about 170 bucks for 20 CV steel, the axis lock. It'll look just like this except this size, obviously. You know, if you're looking for a smaller, just under 3-inch blade, but in that 3-inch neighborhood, I really don't think you could do much worse. Or you could do much worse. I don't know how much better you could do than the mini grip. If you'd like a full-size EDC, you don't want to spend a lot of money, I'm pretty sure you can get a full-size grip in the $80 to $100 range, depending on where you're shopping. Again, you can get the blue class, just like that one, for probably 170, or you could dress yours up like this one, or however you like, and get up around 200, 210. But again, just both of them just really, really nice knives. So, I think what I might start doing is just like a rando pocket dump every day that I do these videos. So like I said, today I had the Tenacious in the pocket, a Coast, what is it, HX5 flashlight. It's cheap, but it's solid. It works. $10. Zebra, what is it, the Zebra BP? No, F301. I had these. This was basically exclusively what I would use when I was in the military. I love these knives, or knives. I love these pens. Super cheap. Just really nice pens, though. And just a super simple $45 Timex Expedition. So, usually I have some small tool with me, but not today. So yeah, these are the knives that I talked about this evening. The Benchmade Griptilians, the mini and the full size. If you guys have any questions, throw them down in the comments. Otherwise, have yourself a great night.